It is crazy. It is super crazy that I am still in here doing this amazing podcast for you guys. Hello. Welcome to the Zoom Out Podcast, episode 14, I believe. I would just like to tell you guys that I'm so happy to hear that you guys are here. You know what I mean? I'm very glad that you guys have taken the time to come over and stop by, listen to me ramble for like an hour, maybe 20 minutes. It really just depends on the day, honestly. But welcome to the Zoom Out Podcast, episode 14. My name is Vaughn Johnson Baptiste. I am a college student, and this podcast is really just like an audio diary. So I appreciate anyone who decided to come over and listen to me ramble for a little bit. But for today, this might be a little quick episode. Just a plate cleaner for next episode. I'm going to be doing an interview with one of these teachers here on campus, and we're gonna be just talking about her journey and stuff like that. Her name is Mariah Shug, and I'm very excited to record that for you guys. But for today, that we have a topic that I wanted to talk about, because when it comes down to how I've been maneuvering in this life, I have a very hard time figuring out the fact that like I'm good enough when it comes to doing certain things. Like even coming to college, I didn't think I was good enough to even like do this type of stuff. I didn't think I was confident enough to capable enough to do what I needed to do here, and even think that I would deserve to be here. So the conversation is going to be about the concept of understanding the good enough. So before I actually get into that, I just want to, obviously, because this is what I've been doing for the past couple of episodes, I might as well tap in and tell you guys how I'm doing. I'm doing pretty well. You know what I'm saying? It is 11:37, a couple hours before I actually upload this podcast. I feel great. I'm definitely thinking of some more stuff to write down, and this has definitely been a good thing for me when it comes to actually coming up with ideas. So I'm doing great. I'm trying to make sure that I kind of stay on track with everything. It's a lot on my plate right now, so I'm just trying to, you know what I'm saying, get the ball rolling. But back to the topic at hand, the concept of good enough. That is definitely something that I have struggled with. This is something that many different people are struggling with, and it's honestly something that is a staple when it comes to my life, to be honest with you. Many different times I will try to be such a perfectionist when it comes to certain things, and I'm trying to, you know, get everything to be 100%, and nothing is ever 100%, which I've found out throughout my life. Sometimes you got 80, sometimes you have 20, and sometimes you have 0. And sometimes that's just what you have at that moment, and that's good enough. Because if you only have 10, give that 10. If you only have 5, give that 5. Technically, you still giving 100% of what you can, and that's all that really matters. But to get into the topic a little bit, I want to explain what the good enough mindset even is. So in order to embrace the good enough mindset, you have to focus on progress instead of perfection. You know what I'm saying? You have to acknowledge your achievements, set realistic expectations, and practice self-compassion. Stop comparing yourself to others. As been like, that one specifically is something that I've learned in my life. Even comparing myself to myself, that's not a good idea. And also, what you will need to do is actively identify when you're pushing yourself beyond your limit, in order to achieve a satisfactory outcome of the given situation. So essentially, accepting that doing something well enough is more sufficient and can prevent unnecessary stress, and anxiety from striving for the unattainable perfection. So I'll even give an example. When it comes to this podcast, at the start, I wanted to make sure I was giving 100%. I wanted to make sure that I was editing the episodes as much as possible, taking out any ums and ahs and stuff like that. As you guys have noticed, I've definitely kind of taken a back seat on that, mainly because I'm just trying to get these episodes out. Like, my good enough, I'd say, at this current moment is, well, specifically with this podcast, is the good enough being the topics and getting these out on time. I can worry in the future a little bit more once I get a little bit more down into the nitty gritty of the podcast, but I want to be able to get a good topic out and be able to then upload it on a sufficient time so I can stay on schedule with my stuff. Excuse me. And in order to do that, I can't sit here and try to edit down so much of it and make sure that every single thing is so clean and cut. Like, you know, I know it's like a professional thing where you would be able to do that. And at some point I will be doing that. But the fact of the matter is that you can't do that too much or else the episodes are never going to get out. And this is what I've noticed on a lot of different aspects. And I do think that when it comes to embracing that good enough, it's going to help you and is going to make it so that you can actually move on instead of staying behind. You know what I mean? So here's some key strategies real quick that can actually help you embrace that good enough. So the first one would be to identify your good enough standard. Determine what constitutes a satisfactory level of quality for each task or situation, considering its importance and the time required. So let's say I have an assignment that is due by, right now it is 11:42. Let's say I have an assignment due by 1 o'clock. If I'm sitting here and I'm stressing about, oh my God, I have this, yet everything that I do have to do is due, everything else aside from that one thing is due at like 11 p.m. tonight, or is due at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Instead of trying to boggle my mind on, oh my God, I have to do this and I have to do it perfectly or else I'm going to fail, or this, that, and the third, is going to completely diminish your productivity. And then also on top of that, make it so that you're so worried about this, yet you have something that is due right this moment that you can get done, that you have the ample amount of time to actually get done. The only issue is that you need to understand that you'll be able to get it done and you'll be able to do good enough to actually pass the thing. You would be able to do what you need to do in order to get to the next step, in order to actually make it so that you're not behind. That's really what it is. That if you embrace that good enough, and then you acknowledge like where exactly is good enough for you, instead of just like sitting there and be like, no, good enough is perfect. You can't do that. Nobody is perfect. Nothing is perfect other than my girlfriend. But anyway, we're not talking about that. But it's just, you need to make sure that you are able to just get the stuff done in a timely manner, and also like based off its importance. If it's super important and it's due in the next 2 hours, try to get it done within that time. So yeah, there's the first one, in identifying your good enough standard. Now, secondly is focusing on progress, not perfection. Once again, I'm gonna say it again: focus on progress, not perfection. And I think I've actually done this just recently. So when it comes to doing that, you should shift your focus from achieving flawlessness to making consistent improvements and moving forward. So what I actually just did that reminds me of the fact that I did this. I had an assignment that was due at 10 a.m. and I didn't end up getting it done because last night I was working the basketball game, and also a couple hours before that I was kind of just trying to do some stuff. But I didn't end up having enough time to fully flush it out and complete it. So what I instead did was I wrote as much as I could down before the deadline, and then I submitted the assignment, and I put a comment in there that told the teacher I didn't get enough time to actually fix, like to do the assignment, but this is what I have so far. and I will improve on that as we go along, because it's for an assignment, and it's a practice so that we can get a little bit better during class. So obviously I'm going to continue to do that assignment on my own, but I have a baseline of what the teacher was asking for, and I sent that over, and I'll see during class what she thinks about that. So when it comes down to it, I couldn't it was like 9 o'clock this morning. I couldn't sit here and focus so heavily on doing it because I didn't have enough time. I was about to go to my management class. There's certain things that were hindering me from fully completing it. So instead of me sitting here and worrying about that and trying to make it so that it's perfect and trying to make sure that I'm not missing any steps or something like that, I just said, you know what, it makes more sense to just get this out, get this to the teacher, and then eventually build upon what I was writing in the first place so that it can get better. And then if need be, or if she even wants to, I'll give it to her so that she understands, like, okay, he got it done, and this is where he started and this is where he ended. So it's better to focus on that progress instead of, be like just being so perfectionist. That's not how you say that. I wanted to say perfectionistic, but that's also not a word. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say though. But yeah. Now, the main thing that I actually do believe is a great thing in order to actually embrace that good enough feeling, that good enough mindset, is to practice self-compassion. And that could very well just be its own episode. But I wanted to say that you need to be kind to yourself. You need to forgive the mistakes that you end up doing, and then acknowledge that everyone does that. Everyone has moments where they mess up. Everyone has times where it's not good enough, or there's certain things that are making it so that you can't get this done, or something like that. I don't know, but when it comes down to it, you need to, instead of sitting here and bashing yourself, and I'm a victim of this. I bash myself on a lot of different things. I was almost bashing myself last night about the fact that I didn't get everything done. But I acknowledge the fact that, you know what? At this point, I can't change that. All I have to do in the future is get over that hurdle that I'm struggling with, and then, you know what? Everybody else, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone misses a deadline. Everybody messes up in any type of field. There's no difference for me. I'm just like everyone else. So I'm going to acknowledge the fact that everyone makes mistakes, and instead of sitting here and bashing myself, because I wouldn't want somebody to do that to themselves, I'm going to sit here and be like, you know what? We're good. I'm good. I messed up, but I can build on this, work on it, and then I can move on after the fact. And a good example, actually, that I came up with a while ago was, I think it was one of these episodes. It might have been in a self-motivation or something like that. I'm not sure. Self-worth maybe. But what I said in that episode was, picture this, that you have a child and they're sitting here and bashing themselves and doing this, that, and the third, and calling themselves an idiot and saying that they can never do anything right and blah, blah, blah. What would you as a father or as a mother, what would you say to that child? How would you feel towards that child doing that? Would you sit here and encourage the bashing, or are you going to sit here and be like, no, be kind to yourself. You're okay. You messed up, and that's okay, but just build upon that in the future. You would do that instead, right? So what makes it so that you wouldn't do that to yourself? And there could be a million answers to that question. But the thing is, you need to understand that you are just a human being. Human beings make mistakes. It is a regular occurrence in life, and you cannot sit here and constantly bash yourself. You can bash yourself, but not to the point where you feel so terrible and this, that, and the third. Unless it warrants that, don't. Review. See that you messed up. Be like, you know what? I understand what was wrong. That's on me. Forgive that. Acknowledge that everyone has moments like that, and move on. You get better from that moment. That's the real crux of what I'm trying to say with practice self-compassion. That's one of the main things that you definitely need to do in order to like move on and realize that even you are good enough. You know what I mean? So the next one is to challenge those perfectionistic thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking it needs to be perfect, question that belief and remind yourself that good enough is often sufficient, which basically entails that if you sit here and say it needs to be perfect, there can't be one mess up or it's terrible. That's going to diminish literally anything that you ever do in life. And that is not good. What you have to do is sit here and be like, you know what? This is good. And if need be, I'll put it in the context of film, because that's what I'm going to school for. And that actually might be a pocket. I'm getting sidetracked. But when it comes to film, I can't sit here on my computer when I'm first editing a film. I cannot sit here and try to make it so unbelievably perfect that there shouldn't be a second try or anything like that, because when it comes down to editing and when it comes down to even editing and writing or something like that, you need multiple drafts in order to do it. You need multiple things that are going to enhance it. You might need another color that adds to the shot. You might need another graphic that adds to the shot. You might need another sentence that adds to the script. You might need a billion different things. You can't sit here and try to cram all of that into the first try. That's not how things work. That is never how things work. It's never going to be perfect on the first try. Literally never. There's even moments during this podcast that I'm gonna end up editing out. There's definitely moments where I'm going to end up editing out. I can't sit here and try to make it perfect, because that's not how it works. Things aren't going to be perfect. You need to understand that things are like once in a while, be like, you know what? This was good enough. And there's ways to make it better. And that's really what you need to do in order to move on, in order to realize that you're good. Like you are fine where you are, and you don't have to be perfect. That's that's honestly the whole basis of this episode. There is no need to constantly feel like you need to be perfect. There's no need, because it's going to be a never ending battle, an uphill climb, you know that old adage or whatever. I don't remember exactly like if there's a phrase, but like it's like pushing a boulder uphill. That's that's just going to be the entire situation the more that you have that mindset. And if you want to keep sitting here and having that mindset, you can go right ahead and do that, but you will be stagnant for the rest of your life. You will be stagnant for the rest of your life, and it's never going to help you. So instead of actually doing that, I recommend, the world recommends, you be fucking kind to yourself and challenge the fact that you don't have to be perfect. You as a human being aren't perfect. There are flaws, and you're beautiful. We get it. You will be fine. It is good enough to do this. It is good enough to do that. You do not have to be perfect. You need to set realistic goals. And that is the next topic that I have, or the next little piece that I have. Establish achievable targets that align with your good enough standard and avoid overly ambitious expectations. So that's like, I guess I could say that with this podcast, me right now, sitting here having a discussion with just a microphone, aka you guys, this is achievable. Me being able to sit here, have this conversation, get it out, and be able to talk to you guys. An overly ambitious standard right now for me would be me wanting to just, within a month of me doing this podcast, end up having 1 million followers and end up being able to do a Q&A in person and all that. I'm not there yet. You're not there yet. In order to get there, you got to start walking first. You're still a baby. You are still trying to figure it out. So walk a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Crawl a little bit. Like fall on your stomach if you have to. Get back up and start crawling a little bit more. Then you figure out how to start walking. Walk a little bit. Then you figure out how to run, sprint. Do all of these things. It's over time you'll get to that expectation that you have. You'll get to that moment where you are like, okay, I'm here now, and now it's a good enough now it's an achievable target. After I could be doing this podcast for literal years, and I will still be trying to figure out, like, okay, what is my next achievable goal? What is the next thing that can really get me to where I want to be, where I need to be? And that's the most important thing. It's the most important thing is not the constant need to be overly ambitious. It's just not realistic. You have to be realistic with yourself and realize exactly where you are in your life, and realize that goal that you want, depending on what that goal is, it might not be in your hands right now. You might not be able to get there just yet. You might have to wait another year. You might have to wait another 3. You could have to wait tomorrow. No, you know what? I feel like when it comes to setting realistic goals, you have to make a goal for tomorrow. That's what you need. A goal for tomorrow. Stop worrying about, these in this amount of time, I want to do this. What are you going to do tomorrow? What's your plan for tomorrow? You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna kind of speed through a little bit more of these, because, you know, I have a couple of things I need to do. So the next one, right, is after you set realistic goals, be realistic with yourself. Stop, limit comparisons to others. And I'm gonna go back to that phrase that I love so much, that quote that I love so much. Comparison is the thief of joy, by Theodore Roosevelt. That is the quote of my life, and it needs to be some of y'all's. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because the more that you sit here and you want to compare your progress to somebody else's journey, is not going to be, it's not realistic at all, because you have different strengths and challenges than that person. You have different things that drive you that are weakening to them. You could be the most talented runner in the world. There's somebody that is wheelchair bound for the rest of their life. You know what I mean? So you got to pick and choose the things that, no, you have to sit here and realize not everyone has the same challenges that you do. Not everyone has the same journey that you do. Not everybody is walking in the same shoes that you are. Not everybody is moving their body the same way that you are. You're not them. You're not them. So you need to worry about the path that you're going down. Stop worrying about everybody else's. Everybody else's journey is not necessary. You got to be tunnel visioned on your journey, because in a tunnel ain't no windows. It's the beginning and the end. In that tunnel, you have to worry about getting to your destination. Stop worrying about Timmy's destination. It's not necessary. Stop worrying about the fact that John is about to get to where he wants to be. John, you don't even know John's life. He could quite literally have a goal that's way past that, because that tunnel is forever. So people are never running out of that tunnel. The tunnel never finishes. So you need to realize that your progress is the only thing that is necessary to worry about for you. And yet it's fine to sit here and be like, oh my God, yo, he's doing really good. He's doing really good, and let that motivate you. But don't sit here and, because you see the other person doing good, start bashing yourself. That's not acceptable. That's not something that you should let yourself do to yourself, because you would not do that to your child. So don't do that to yourself. It's not necessary. It's really not. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. And that's all I have to say on that one. But next, you have to celebrate your small wins. Acknowledge and appreciate even minor accomplishments as they contribute to your overall progress. And with that one, a small win today for me, a small win for day. You know what? A small win for me is today waking up, because now I was able to get up, go to my classes, sit here and do this podcast. I'm about to go to this next class, and I'm about to do a little bit of work. And by the end of the day, I'm able to go to sleep and wake up again and just do it. And me doing all of those things and me realizing that those small wins are existent, it's going to help me graduate. Because remember, I'm a senior. I'm about to be out of here in a second. So, oh, by the way, I'm going to end up having an episode about like my whole thought process for this whole college thing. But that'll be way down the line. So you guys can definitely expect that around, I think, in May or something like that. But yeah, just celebrate those small wins, because it's something that's going to help you move on. You know what I mean? And that's the most important thing. You can't sit here and constantly worry about all of your flaws. Celebrate your small wins. That's the thing that is going to help you. That's the thing that's going to strive you to become way better than you already are. Because you are good. You just have to work to get in a little bit better. That's all that matters. And then the last two that I have for you guys is delegate or let go. Recognize when tasks can be delegated, like put into a time frame, or even eliminated if they aren't essential to your desired outcome that you're trying to achieve. And for that one, it's honestly not, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna cut this down to, in order to get to a certain point, sometimes you have to eliminate certain tasks. Sometimes you can't get that thing done, or sometimes that thing is just unattainable and is not something that you're going to be able to do. If it's not essential to what it is that you have to do, leave it alone. You might sit here like, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. One of those things is not the most essential to getting it done. Delegate that to a certain time frame, or leave it alone. It's not going to help you if you constantly bash your head on the wall about it. Move on to something that's going to help you. If you have like a million things to do, write all of those things down and then delegate which one is more important than the other. Figure out those more important things and then worry about the smaller ones, and then worry about the even smaller ones, or worry about the smaller ones first. Figure out which one is the most important at that exact moment of your mental state to do. If you're fine, do the most important thing. If you start to get a little bit stressed, do the least important thing first. Whatever you end up doing, make it so that you can outline and see it and be like, you know what? I don't quite frankly need to clean this right now. I don't quite frankly have to do this right now. I have to do that, so I'm going to try to get started on that. But this other thing, I don't need it. It's okay. I can get back to it, but no. Like, you get what I'm saying? That's the way I view it, if you catch my drift. And then this is the last one for you guys. Mindful awareness. Pay attention to when you're overworking something and consciously choose to stop it when it reaches the good enough level. And I really like that one for the last little bit here, because sometimes things get overworked. Sometimes you're just trying too much stuff with that one thing. Sometimes you have to realize that, wait, how far into this am I? Okay, is this a good start? Is this a good enough place for me to stop right now? And think about it, because I know during the moment you're going to want to continue. And if you can continue, please do. But if you can't in that exact moment, don't force yourself to. It's not healthy to do that. So look at it and be like, you know what? this is good for right now. Like, this is doable for this exact moment, and this can improve, this can continue, but in the current moment, I can take a step back and move on to something different so that I can delegate once again what is the most important at this exact moment, because I don't have to get this done. I don't have to get this done right this moment. It's due at 11 p.m. tomorrow. If need be, I can get that done midday tomorrow. But I have made progress. And I think that might just be the name of this episode. Progress is key. And that is something that I'm even working on. I'm gonna be honest. That's something I'm working on. That's something that the person that's next to you is working on. That's something that your mom, dad, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, whatever you want to say, has been working on for their entire lives. And that is something that is going to be something that's just going to be with you for a while. You just need to make sure that you realize what your good enough standard is. And that is the basis of this whole little spiel that I have had. So please, for the rest of this day that you are listening to this, or for the rest of the week, figure out what your good enough is. Figure out what your good enough standard is. Figure out where what your end goal is, and figure out day by day or week by week what you want to do that week. That will strive you to get to the next thing, so that you can actually make progress instead of trying to be so perfect on it. Because once again, I'm going to say, no one's perfect. No thing is perfect. And it is okay that you aren't perfect, because no one is. It's an unattainable goal that social media and all of these, whatever you want to say, have put into your mind. It's not necessary. And in order to get out of that mindset, you have to force yourself to do that. And it's hard to do that. It's super difficult. If that's something that you've been learning for your entire life, that's going to be something that's genuinely a struggle for you. And it's understandable, 100%. But if you're listening to this podcast, you need to take what I'm saying and take it on your day by day. I'm not saying I'm the most knowledgeable individual. I'm only 21 and in college, but my mindset is there is a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. You just have to get to the point where you realize some things you just can't do. And that's okay. You're not perfect. It's okay. You are you, and that is good enough. And yeah, that's all I got for that one. So please, if you're listening to this podcast right now, force yourself to think of the good enough. Like, really, really sit there. Your brain's gonna try to play tricks on you and tell you that nothing is good enough and you need to do this, you need to do that. Stop listening to that little voice in your head, because it's forcing you to go down the same path you've been going down for the past 16 years or the past however many years that you've grown up. Stop listening to that voice. Stop listening to that person that's not good for you. Stop listening to that thing that is constantly bashing you upside the head, saying that you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, because you are. You are good enough. And that is where I'm going to end this podcast. So I just need for you all, everyone, to sit here and just maybe even for the next couple of minutes after you finish listening to this podcast, just go in the mirror and say, I'm good enough. I am good enough. I am good enough. And shout out to my aunt. She actually has these hoodies and this clothing brand, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if she's still doing it, but shout out to her. She has these shirts and these hoodies that say enough on them. I am enough, or something like that. It has something to do with the overall concept of being good enough, or being enough. And it's something that is going to help you, even if you just have to constantly look at that have to constantly look at that and that definition of good enough and have to see it over and over again. If that's what you need, do that and understand that that's just what you're gonna that's what you're going to need. So actually, instead of just ending it off there, I have a poem that I wrote actually like last year, at the end of last year. And I just actually no, at the start of 2023, actually. Oh my goodness. But I'm gonna read this poem to you guys, and then I'll close out for the day. All right. I am enough. A glass half full. On days that I feel like I'm not doing the utmost, days where I feel like nothing, I look up at God and ask him to cover me in his good grace. The mirror always will show you the cracks in your perfect, the bumps in your beautiful. But in reality, those cracks make you human. Those bumps show you the beauty that you hold inside of you. I am enough. I am enough for God. I am enough for my family. I am enough for greatness. I am enough for me. I just want to say thank you, anybody who decided to listen to this podcast today. Once again, I am planning on having a podcast interview with Mariah Shug, which is a teacher here at Widener's campus, and we're just gonna have a little conversation and talk about her journey and all of that type of stuff. And this topic of being good enough might actually come back up. So please tune into that episode when it comes out. I appreciate anyone who decided to stop by and listen to me ramble for about half an hour, something like that. And I mean it when I say you are good enough. You are the person that you are for a reason. You are where you are for a reason, and everything happens for a reason. So please take that into account. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Once again, my name is Vaughn Johnson Baptiste. This was the Zoom Out podcast. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yeah. All right. Y'all have a good one. Until next time. Peace.